Hi, my name is Safa Mogharebi. I'm an SIE from Germany, and today we want to talk about some RPC Connect features. This video will only touch on a portion of the new features available in the new RPC Connect product. To fully leverage the power of this new platform, we highly recommend that you engage with MTS training. To do this, just simply go to the MTS website, click on Services, click on Training courses. Scroll down, here you see all the training stuff we have, like classroom and on-site training. And down below, you will find for the beginners, for the RPC Connect beginners, the basic software operation course. Then for our Switch users, the people coming from the old RPC Pro product. And here on the right, you see the RPC Connect Advanced Software Operation course. Okay, today we are going to concentrate on the model stage. We are trying to focus on the FRF candidates. So FRF only carries candidate control channels, and the correlation channels are independent on the FRF. Today we want to have a look at that topic, and let's go into the presentation as usual. So candidates for control channels. So these are the channels which contribute to a drive change in RPC Connect. So each time a new drive is generated, these channels will adapt these drives. And we want to have a focus on where to change these settings and what is the difference between our old products like RPC Pro. As you are familiar with our model wizard now, the model wizard has a control channels and band node, and there you make the necessary selection for your subsystem. So you can select here for your subsystems if these channels should be on control or no control. This is similar to the inverse tool you know from RPC Pro, and let's have a look what are the changes we made here. Correlation channels can be added anytime during iterations in Simulate. So now in RPC Connect, we do not have the correlation options for our subsystems directly in the control channels and bands node. The reason for this is that control channels, correlation channels are not contributing to a drive change. And if you include them into your FRF, each time you want to add correlation channels on the fly, you were like limited because you need to create a new FRF and go through the whole RPC process again. So in this case, in RPC Connect, we separated the correlation channels and the candidates for control channels in RPC. And therefore, we have now three different options here to select. Here are the output channel lists shown. In this case, it's an easy 4-poster. And we have for our subsystems the following options: control, no control, and no control path. Control basically means that this channel will have a contribute to a drive change. So basically the same control options as you're familiar with RPC Pro. No control won't show any data which will be passed for these channels in the certain frequency range you're selecting here. And no control path is showing you what the specific channel will do in that subsystem area and this control band. The data, what is actually recorded by your measurement system. And so you should only select channels which do change your drive or are expected to be in your FRF and are so-called candidates for control channels. In RPC Connect, the inverse response channels are now semi-dependent on the output or input FRF matrix. So what we have added here is the so-called QTR rules, so we can add, remove, order, reorder any channels here, which gives you the flexibility to change your FRF on the fly. That you can, for example, now we see a 4x12 matrix system. We can reduce this FRF to a 2x8 system, for example, easily while using these flexible buttons here. So basically, the idea here behind it is if you want to reduce your FRF, you can do so with the help of these buttons, and you can even resort them. And as your output channels are dependent on the active response channels, by reordering them, they are still dependent on your output, on your active response channels, and that is the so-called semi-dependency. Okay, now let's go and hop into the software and get an example as usual. Okay, let's go into the software. Here we see the model wizard. We already selected our appropriate setup. We have a 4-poster system with 4 displacement channels and 4 acceleration channels. Then we enter the control channels and bands node. So here you see we have a 4x4 system, so 4 inputs and 4 outputs. We can easily change this FRF to a 4x8 system, for instance. So we can add our acceleration channels here while using the plus button. And then we can see, even if we want to reorder them and have, let's say, for example, the acceleration first, we just shift them with these arrows up and down where we need them. And the so-called semi-dependency I was talking about in my presentation will take care that the active response channels, these output channels depend on the active response channels, will not have a negative impact while reordering them. Basically, you can easily select a second control band, for instance, here. So we are going to select the second control band. The first one goes from 0 to 5, and the second one goes from 5 to 50, for instance. And then we can make our subsystem selections here. We are going to control the front and the rears here for the input side. And for the output side, we can say, okay, for the frequency range of 0 to 5, we are going to only control the LVDTs and not the accelerations. So we are going to select here no control, and for the subsystem itself, for the displacement, we are maybe interested in what the displacement is doing in the upper frequency range between 5 and 50. We are setting that to no control pass, and that will adapt, of course, our simulation filter where we need to take care of, and makes it flexible to watch or have a look at the data once we are playing out files in Simulate. So in this case, it looks similar to the correlation option we had in RPC Pro, but please make sure the way the software is designed, we only want to have the channels which do contribute or might contribute to a drive change, the candidates for control channels, are only put into your FRF. This gives you the flexibility. If you know that this channel might do contribute to a drive change, or you will use it in future to change your drives, that makes it flexible to use this FRF on your needs. So if you want to reduce it and don't want to use the acceleration channels, just remove them and call it a 4x4 system. But if you want to just observe or watch any channels, we will later on discuss how to implement this into the simulate stage. So the simulate stage is now for the old correlation channels you know from RPC Pro, and the candidates for controls are these channels which might change your drive on the basis of your FRF, should be included here. So please make sure to separate them strictly and not use the old RPC Pro behavior. Okay, and with that, I want to say thank you for your attention and see you next time.